Help me reach 500 subscribers. A few years ago, back when I was still working as a realtor, life handed me a twist so bizarre I still struggle to believe it happened. I ended up helping the man my wife was cheating on me with secure an apartment, without having the faintest clue who he was. To me, he was just another client walking in off the street. It was before the pandemic, and I was going about my usual routine at the office. One afternoon, this quiet guy came in asking for a studio. Soft-spoken, polite, nothing that set off any alarms. I walked him through a few listings, we chatted a bit, and he seemed genuinely grateful when I managed to get him a good deal. I shook his hand, handed over the keys, and thought that was the last I'd ever see or hear of him. Fast forward to earlier this year. A casual acquaintance mentioned spotting my wife leaving that very same apartment complex with some man. They were walking side by side, arms linked like a couple. I laughed it off initially. It didn't fit. She was always busy with work, always out for meetings, deadlines, whatever she claimed was keeping her on her toes. I brushed it aside. But then a few things started bubbling back in my mind. During the pandemic, she said her company switched everyone to remote work. Totally normal at the time. But she still dressed up every morning and left the house like she was heading to the office. At first, I didn't question it. Later, that inconsistency started to claw at me. The doubt finally got to me. I did something I'd never done in our entire relationship. I called her workplace. The woman who picked up sounded confused when I asked for my wife. Then she explained what had really happened. The company had shut down almost a year earlier. They'd gone bankrupt and laid off all their employees well before my wife claimed she was busy working overtime. I sat there frozen with the phone still in my hand. That night, when she walked through the door, I confronted her. I didn't yell, didn't threaten, didn't accuse. I simply laid out what I'd learned and asked her to tell me the truth. Her reaction stunned me more than the lie itself. No panic, no guilt. She looked straight at me and admitted it. She'd been with another man for over a year. My whole world shook. Every thought I'd ever had about our marriage suddenly felt stupidly naive. I held myself together only because of our son. I needed clarity, so I asked her why pretend everything was fine? Why keep up the facade? Her answer felt like a slap delivered with a shrug. What changed at home? She asked. In her mind, nothing had. She still cooked, still got groceries, still spent time with us in the evenings. As if fulfilling those tasks excused everything else. She said she wanted something new, something thrilling, and she'd found it. She insisted that since she kept the house functioning, nothing needed to be questioned. Then she just walked away, like we discussed the weather. I followed her and told her clearly that this wasn't something I could brush off. I couldn't live pretending while she lived a double life. It wasn't only about her betrayal, it was about my own self-respect. Friends had seen her with him. People whispered. I couldn't stay and let myself be treated like a fool. We ended up talking late into the night. Eventually, we both accepted that our marriage was done. We agreed to separate. She would stay with our son for the moment, and I would move out. We decided to tell him it was just a disagreement until we figured out a calmer way to explain everything. But the moment I stepped out of that house, the reality of responsibility hit her like a brick wall. Everything I used to handle, school routines, appointments, simple day-to-day structure, she suddenly had to manage alone. My son started telling me she was overwhelmed, irritable, always behind on something. She couldn't keep up. The man she'd left me for started pulling away too. Their dates became rare. He gradually faded out of her life. My son eventually asked if he could come live with me instead. He said things felt more stable with me, that I understood him better. Soon enough, the arrangement officially shifted. Later on, I discovered the final twist. She had taken out a huge loan to help that man. She bought him the same apartment I had helped him get. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd unknowingly helped set up the place where my marriage fell apart. In the end, she was left with the wreckage, the debt, the stress, the collapsing relationship, the responsibilities she couldn't juggle. Everything she'd gambled our family for ended up slipping through her fingers. It was like life handed her the consequences she never thought she'd have to face.